Hello everyone, it's your girl Asia for the Roman Spangle channel. Welcome back to my channel. We're going to be wrapping up the rest of the season for season 13 of Degrassi. We're going to be doing 4 episodes, and all these 4 episodes are part 1 and part 2 episodes, so we're going to go ahead and wrap up the season. The first 2 episodes we're going to be doing are episodes 37 and 38, called Believe part 1 and part 2, and I'm just going to talk about both episodes in one video. Same thing for the other part 1 and part 2 episodes, which are 39 and 40, which are called Thunderstruck. So we're gonna go ahead and talk about this. So Believe part 1 and part 2 are wrapped around Zoe's case, her sexual assault case. I actually love these episodes. I've never had a problem with these episodes. I like them a lot. If I had to say one thing I didn't like about them, in these episodes, it's just one big ass A plot. There's no B plot. There's no other storylines that they want you to follow. It's just the case. And that's what I really love, because Degrassi always had a problem with their A plot being very, very interesting and their B plot falling flat. Like, why do a goofy ass side plot when the A plot is so fucking serious? Just make everything one big ass plot. I understand you want to give your other characters some time to shine, but if it's not holding my interest, I really don't give a fuck. Like, the B plot, I guess I could say in this episode, is Zig selling drugs again. But like I've always said, the gang storyline with Zig, to me, never ever caught my interest, because I just felt like it's random. Like, I feel like we should have seen more. Like, when he told Maya the backstory of how he got into the gang and how it all started and why his mom kicked him out, why couldn't we have seen that in a flashback? Why not show us that in the beginning of season 13 before school started? Instead, you want us to guess how he got into the gang, and this is that and third. I don't want to guess. I don't want to guess. Like, so Vince pressuring him to join the gang again, I really don't care about that. And then another thing, why the fuck wasn't there any security outside? Vince is like literally by the buses on school property, just hanging around, while a bunch of the kids is coming out of the school to go to the court to support Zoe, and while the other ones are just hanging out in front of the school eating their lunch. I'm like, where the fuck is the security? This should be security. This is a grown ass man hanging around on school grounds. Where is the security? Where is it at? But anyways, so, you know, Zoe's trying to get ready for her sexual assault case with Becky's brother and the other guy. What is the other nigga name who was talking to her too? I think Neil. Neil and Luke Baker. You know, Luke's lawyer is really trying to, you know, go hard and make it out. She's trying her best to make it seem like that Luke is very innocent, and that, you know, that him and Zoe, when he slept with Zoe, it was consent. That, you know, she has a history of male attention, and since she's like this party girl and was on West Drive and an actress, she basically has this reputation of being a slut and sleeping with guys. So basically they're trying to go with this agenda that Zoe had sex with these 2 guys, and that she didn't want to be called names and be called a school slut, so that's why she called rape, right? Zoe's lawyer told her not to talk to any press because they will have a history of, you know, trying to get her story but trying to twist her words. She obviously didn't listen, because, you know, the woman who wanted to interview Zoe and wanted to get, you know, her side of her story, she thought, since, you know, Zoe thought since she was a woman, she would understand where she was coming from. Well, instead, the next day in the court, when Zoe was on the stand and the lady, Luke's lawyer, was asking her questions and, you know, asking Zoe, did she not say this in her report to the lady, saying that she regret having sex with those 2 boys. She wanted all the kids in the school to stop making fun of her, so she said those boys assaulted her. Zoe said she might have said, she said that that's not what she said. That lady misquoted her, and that and then the lawyer brought up that just like you did with another boy this year, Drew, when you had sex with him, you regretted it, so you know, called out rape. Now with the Drew thing, I kind of had a feeling that this was going to come back to bite her, but y'all got to remember, I don't think Zoe wanted, I don't think, when Zoe's mom crashed Drew's thing, his, I guess, press conference or whatever it was he was having that day, I think Zoe told her mom that she was dating an older guy and he broke up with her. And I think her mom, wanted to go with the whole, oh, he raped you thing because he's 18, you're 15, right? I don't think Zoe, called rape, because you have to think it wasn't Zoe who walked in there and said, Drew Torres raped me. It was the mother who walked in there and said, this boy raped my daughter. So at the end of the day, it came back to bite her, because her mother was trying to, not allow her daughter to have a broken heart. But then again, you did it the wrong way by falsely accusing this boy for rape that is going to come back to bite your daughter. Because of that moment, everybody automatically thinks that she's lying about being assaulted, because early on this year in the semester, she went around a lot about Drew raping her, right? So that was going to come back to bite her. But when they have Frankie on the stand and the lawyer was asking Frankie questions, Frankie admitted that when they went to party that night, that Zoe admitted that she wanted to get drunk and that she wanted to hook up with boys, and that Frankie admitted that she knew that if Zoe had sex that night, she was going to regret it and maybe accuse some guys for rape. And Zoe interrupted the questions and things like that, and told her lawyer, why is he not objecting, why is he not fighting for her, and whatever. And then Becky walks out of the court because she just can't bear to be in there. It's kind of hard. And again, the lawyer, Becky's family lawyer, who was with Luke, they want Becky to lie, and Becky can't lie under oath, because I think you get locked up for that, right? If I'm not mistaken, I'm really not sure. But like Becky told the lawyer when they was at her house, that even if she was to lie, she still saw the video, and she was the one who called the police about the sexual assault. So if she definitely lied, she's going to get more in trouble than anybody, because it's like, you're the one who called this in, now you're going back in your word and saying, oh, you didn't see the video and that none of this ever happened. It makes me feel like if Becky did lie, it would make me look at her in a different way, because it's like, girls don't lie. I don't give a fuck if it's your family member. They did something awful. They need to get in trouble for it. And Drew, I don't know who the fuck wrote his lines in this episode, but let me tell y'all something. When you rape somebody, it's not a mistake, period. That's not no mistake. Raping someone while they're unconscious, I might add, recording it and making a home video to send to your homeboys or whatever, that's not a mistake. I understand what Drew was saying, that Becky's loyalty should be to her brother no matter what, regardless of what he did. But it's like, Drew, there should be a line. There should be a line that you should draw. There should be something that your sibling could do that's against your moral grain. You feel me? Like I said, if my brothers would have done something like that, off top, I'm turning them in. I'm not going to lie on stand and act like I didn't see the video. You feel me? I saw the video. So for you want me to lie on stand, it's hard when I saw what I saw. And at the end of the day, like I said, if you're my brother and you feel like I betrayed you or whatnot, I don't give a fuck if you never want to speak to me again, if you never want to see me again. At the end of the day, you did something, you need to pay the consequences for it. I'm not going to lie just so you can walk around in freedom, just so you can do it all over again to another female. No. When Becky said, how could she love someone so much for them to do something so bad, she is 100% right, because it's like, how can you rape a girl that's unconscious and then turn around and say you love your little sister? That's weird. That don't even make any sense. That don't make sense at all. So I don't know who the fuck wrote Drew lines when he said, oh, her brother made a mistake. Raping someone is not a mistake. Raping someone unconscious, I might add, and then recording it and sending it to your homeboys, that's not a mistake, my nigga. I don't give a fuck. I understand what Drew was talking about, saying, oh, you should be loyal, you shouldn't abandon your brother in this time. But it's like, at the end of the day, that nigga did something, I'm not going to stand beside him and act like I agree with him sexually assaulting a girl, because I don't, period. They tried to put Miles and Maya back together in these episodes. I am so glad that they actually did not do that, because let me tell y'all something. I was so over Maya and Miles, and this relationship was going to be the same way. It's going to be a roller coaster up and down, them probably breaking up again over something stupid, and Miles trying to get Winston to lie on the stand under oath just so he could get Maya back. I'm not going to lie, that was really a jerky-ass move. It was an asshole move, because to me, I feel like Miles should have just told Maya the truth. He should have told her the truth he had a lot of chances to tell her the truth. If we're gonna be honest, we're gonna be honest. He should have told Maya the truth when they got back together after the party. He should have told her the truth there. When they broke up, and I think sparks will fly. When they got back together in the one episode, when they got back together in part 1, he should have told her the truth. Even here in this episode, he should have told her the truth before they went to court. He should have told her the truth. Him lying about it and not saying anything is what made Maya even more angry. But I feel like Maya, you know what? I'm gonna say that for the finale because I got a lot to say about the last 2 episodes for the season. So I'm gonna just say that. But I definitely agree with Maya when she broke up with Miles. Miles is very unpredictable, and he has a habit of, rebelling and, just going off the radar when something doesn't go his way. Or like when him and Maya got into that huge fight at the party, he was not thinking straight. Back in the day, he still had the mindset on cheating on Maya, possibly sleeping with Zoe. So at the end of the day, he didn't, technically cheat, but it's the fact that he was going to. And I agree with Maya. It is not her fault that it is not Maya's fault why Miles is wired the way he is. All he could have told Maya is that he needed her because he was going through something with his family life. Instead, he was the one who just, what is the word I'm looking for? When Maya said that he wanted Winston to lie under oath, he said Winston was supposed to say that him and Zoe almost hooked up. And he told Maya that what was he supposed to do? She left him that night at the party and he was sad and she abandoned him. And she said, why didn't you just tell me that? Exactly, because when things go wrong, you do the horrible thing. You do the ugly thing. Exactly. She is 100% right. When things go wrong in their relationship, he does the ugly thing. He does the horrible thing. He kind of has this thing where he has this unpredictable behavior. And I don't think at this point he shouldn't put the blame all on Maya because it is not Maya's fault. You and her got into an argument. Yes. Y'all was supposed to have a romantic night anyway. There wasn't supposed to be no fucking party. So as far as I'm concerned, when she walked into that party, she had every right to be upset because it was supposed to be me and you and a romantic night. Had it just been the plans they had made, she would have known what was going on because he would have had time to tell her and open up more about the situation with his dad. But he didn't want to do that. Instead, he wanted to go against his dad's wishes and piss his dad off and get screamed at, rebel against the wishes that his dad set for him. And then he's going to blame Maya for her not wanting to stay because she had enough of his fucking erratic behavior. No, I feel like in that moment he was trying to gaslight Maya. I'm not even going to hold y'all. Like, I look at that argument completely different back when I was a teenager. I feel like in that moment he was totally trying to gaslight Maya and trying to make it seem like him about to cheat on Zoe was her fault because she left the party that night and didn't stay. My nigga, what? I walk into this bitch and I see tons of people when it's just supposed to be a me and you thing. You think I'm gonna stay and, just tag along in your toxic ass mindset? No, I'm good. You want to do you, I'm going to go do me. I'm not going to chase you, and I'm not going to force you to shut no party down because you want your dad to get angry. So I feel like in that moment, Miles was definitely trying to manipulate and gaslight Maya, and I like that Maya, finally put her fucking foot down and said, enough of this. Enough of this back and forth of me and you. I'm done. We're done. No more of this getting back together and breaking up shit. We're over. But there is something I do want to mention, though. Zig gets on my nerves acting like he does not like Maya. Like, my nigga, come on now. Because when she told Zig that, would it be weird if she wanted to go back out with Miles? First of all, I'm trying to wonder, why is she even giving him a heads up? If you want to go back together with your ex, go back together with your ex. I understand, Zig likes you, but at the end of the day, Zig can't tell you can't go back to him even if he has friends for you, so what's really good? Zig gonna tell Maya that it's possible for him to get over her. and she told him thanks for being cool about it. But literally in the part 1 episode, he was looking at her and Miles funny because they were sitting in the same classroom flirting. It's like, Zig, you're funny as fuck to me. You try to act like you don't want Maya, but then you tell her things like you would be okay if she wanted to go with somebody else. But then you look at her funny when she is with somebody else. Make up your mind, my nigga, please. And what's with these build-ups? Why were they building up Drew and Becky? Why? Just why? Like, I just don't understand it. And, you know, when Zoe got her fucking justice, when the judge said that, you know, Luke and the other guy was guilty, I was fucking happy because it's like, yes, they need to go away. When Zoe gave her speech and said that y'all saying, if these boys don't get arrested, if y'all basically saying that I deserve it, and that's like saying other women deserve it. And I don't want to live in a world where women get victim blamed for things that they have no control over. We're going to clock that shit, we just going to clock it. When Becky said that there could have been a chance that Luke and Zoe could have consented that night, but there wasn't, and the lawyer said, how would you know she wasn't there? And she said, because Luke said she never said anything. My brother told me this morning that she never ever said yes. So what is that indicating? That is rape. He told on himself. Like, what? Is this nigga dumb? He literally snitched on himself. He literally told Becky what she's been. I think she's kind of been waiting for that answer from her, because I think the entire time he tried to gaslight her into thinking that the videos that he shot, Zoe was in the right mind of state, because she was saying things like, do I look sexy and do they want to fool around with her, right? So in Becky's mind, it's like, okay, if she's still able to speak, maybe there was a possibility of it being consensual. But when her brother Luke told her just before she got on the stand that Zoe never said yes and that a guy could just know when a girl wants it, you snitched on yourself. That's basically rape. Pretty much. This was like the Bryce of 13 Reasons Why before 13 Reasons Why. Period. And I actually like Zoe. I feel like this was a good episode for Zoe, and I feel like that because for the most part, Zoe felt like a one-dimensional character. She's just a mean girl. She's just a bitch, and it's like I feel like her character needed some depth. And I felt like, you know, them giving her this sexual assault storyline really did good in her favor. I don't know, I actually grew to like Zoe. I know a lot of people don't like her, whatever the case may be, but I actually like Zoe. She kind of felt like another Miles, if that makes sense, but like more of a female version, I guess you could say. And the reason why I say that is because her speech kind of reminded me of the same speech that Miles kind of said to Tristan when he finally came out as bisexual, when he said that his whole life he kind of struggled with finding his own identity, and that, you know, if his father wanted him to do something like a puppet, he would rebel against it, and that has made him, you know, have a hard time opening up and allowing anybody to see him. And that is why it could be why he has a hard time trusting people or growing connections, because he's afraid that people are going to bend to him and run once they get to know him. And I feel like when Zoe gave her speech in season 4 for why she was such a bitch and why she was so mean, because she was insecure and afraid that if she did open herself up, that people would not accept her. The only one you could really say who was her friend for a really short period of time was really Tristan. And I always felt like Tristan was a really good friend to Zoe, but he was a horrible friend to Maya. Like when they say, was Tristan anybody's friend? Yeah, Tristan was Zoe's friend for sure. I don't think he was anybody else's friend, but he definitely was Zoe's friend. Like, that was his bitch. That was his ride or die. That was his everything. He was a really good friend to Zoe. Like, how he stood by her thick and thin, how he was there for her the entire time during the court, during the entire, like, case. He was her ride or die. He was a really good friend to Zoe, but a horrible friend to Maya. Like, I liked Zoe, and I feel like this was probably the beginning of her character development. And then I like that in season 14, they didn't necessarily change her character even after all this happened. She became more bitchy, and I like that. At the end of season 14, and then next class happened, that you actually start to see that character development. I don't know about y'all, but I grew to like Zoe. But I grew to like her a little bit more in next class. That's just my opinion. But Zoe, she way better than me because no way in hell would I ever be talking to Frankie again. And you know what? I think that's probably why she was doing that shit she was doing to her season 14. You know what? I can't even blame Zoe because Frankie, for you to sit on that stage and try to victim blame me, and then even when they was back, like in the hallway, going back and forth, and Frankie was telling Zoe that, you know, she is obsessed with male attention, that she was walking around that party, you know, asking to have sex and stuff like that. I feel like in that moment when Zoe was going through everything when it came to the case, she needed friends, she needed supporters. And the fact that niggas like Miles and niggas like Maya, who she just had bad blood with, were willing to show up to the court and support her 1,000% says a lot. Even after Zoe's been a complete bitch to Maya the entire season, Maya was still willing to show up and support her. And y'all gotta think, they ain't really friends for her, but she still showed up. But her friend, her real friend Frankie, who didn't support her, and says victim blame her and told her that everything that happened is her fault, I would be Zoe too. I'm coming for blood, my nigga, so be ready. The fuck, once that blood hitting that water, I'm coming like a motherfucking great white, so you better be ready. So I would be like Zoe too. I'm coming for blood. Mad blood, bad blood. You better be ready. The fuck, because Maya is better than me. I would never be supporting no bitch who made my year a complete hell. You're not getting any support from me. I don't give a fuck. I would be like, I don't think she deserved what happened to her, but I'm not showing up and pretend like I'm that bitch friend when I'm not. That don't make me a horrible person. Period. So these episodes are definitely a 10 out of 10. I definitely recommend them if you ever watch season 13. They're really good. These are some of the episodes I definitely always watch whenever I'm in the mood to watch season 13. But this is all I gotta say for this episode. If I left out anything, it's because it's not important. So that is that, and I'm gonna catch y'all on my next episodes.